Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. So this is going to be an entire collection video. Basically, I have 19 groups that I collect for, and I have about 20 binders, so we have a lot to get through today. A little bit about my K-pop history. I've been into K-pop since 2014. So was the one who got me into K-pop with Overdose. And then ever since then, it's been just this giant spiral downwards into the K-pop hole. So it's been 10 years since I've been into K-pop, almost to the month. I won a total of 2 fan calls. So I met with Alex from Drippin twice. And so I do have some Polaroids that I've decided, not sure if I don't really have an opinion if they should be undisclosed or disclosed when it comes to Polaroids. It's just a preference, but I did decide to keep them disclosed for this video. I also do collect, like I said, for 19 groups. So I do have a lot to go through. I do have some binders that will maybe only appear in this video, and then I will never be showing them again, and it's just the nature of the binder. But just to show my progress and stuff, even if there are very little cards in said binder, I've decided to show it anyways, just for myself and just to keep track of how my progress has been going. I realized that since I do have 20 binders to go through, I'm probably only going to do this once a year. This one here, I decided to be special just because I'm new to the community, and I haven't properly shown my collections. So, and I do really love my collections. So I will be showing them to you today. So this is going to be a long video. I advise you get a drink, you get a snack. I will put some timestamps, obviously, as always, below, so you can jump around, because I do collect a lot of groups, and B, a lot of groups that other people don't really collect. So if you're not interested in said groups, or or whatever, feel free to jump around the video. So we're gonna start with my smallest binders. So the A5, I only have A5 and A4 binders. We're gonna start from A5. We're gonna start from my, I guess maybe my smallest collections to my biggest collections. So without further ado, let's get started. This is my first binder. You've never seen it before. This is my cards that I keep. Either I've collected them before and dropped the collection, or I don't collect them at all and I just kept the cards that I pulled. I've decided I wanted, I used to just store the cards in this without filming it or anything. I would just put them in. But I decided going forward that I will be storing in this binder. Just for myself, to see if there's collections that I've decided to pick up over time or decided to drop, I would be able to see it in this binder. So this is just a replica broadcast card of Juyeon. It was supposed to be Jacob, but the GOM gave me the wrong PC, so I just put it here, and I did end up finding Jacob's real broadcast card for DDD, so I just kept this in here. And this is the fake Beyond D binders, so it's kind of not the best quality, but it does its job for the collections that I have in here. So first up is itzy. I used to collect Hongjoong and Wooyoung. I no longer do, so I just kept this page of cards that I really liked, and then I just left it at that. I also used to collect Lisa. I just kept her POBs because they were selfies. The other ones weren't, so I just decided to sell them. I no longer collect Lisa. And these are her two La Lisa POBs. These two Twice cards, I don't collect Twice at all, but I was gifted them and they are like official merch. So I just decided to keep them, I guess. I don't have a problem with them. I'm a casual listener of Twice. These are the Polaroids that I pulled in the La Lisa album. I have some card photos that I just received in my albums, nothing too special. I don't collect them either, I just keep what I pull. So this is the case. So we have my AR photo card from X1. So I have Yunseong. I have Lino's card. I pulled it and I just refused to like sell or trade it off. So he's adorable. I just kept him here. These two cards are damaged, so I kept them here as well. And so is this Yuyun. She's also damaged, so I kept her here. I used to collect Hitomi of IZ*ONE, so I have the cards that I just wanted to keep. And for Cheon, why do I have this card? I think I just bought it because she looked really pretty, and then I never collected her or anything. I don't know. For Busoksoon, I just bought an album and I kept whatever I pulled. I used to collect Mashiro. This Youngjun, I think I pulled like 4, so I just ended up keeping one. This is my tiny little ace section. Again, didn't collect them, just kept my card. This Siwoo from Blanky, they are now a disbanded group, but I think this was the only physical release that they had. So I kept that. I kept my pulls for the POBs from the Evergo album. Anthony and Jungwoo, I decided to keep them in here for now. I don't know whether or not I want to expand on both of these collections. So until then, I will keep them in this binder, and I'm okay with that. And then here are just some bigger inclusions, and like if I was sent Polaroids, I just keep it in here, or like freebies that I like, I'll keep in here. But and then I have like my extra pages. It goes in this binder. So that's all for my miscellaneous binder. Going on to my next smaller size collections, I have this binder here has Le Sserafim, 9i, and lightsum. I was debating moving Le Sserafim out of here, but she's still not overgrown. Like her collection is still rather tiny, so I'm gonna keep it in here anyways. So I collect Yunjin from Le Sserafim. She was my one pick from Produce 48, and I was really actually hoping she was gonna like debut with Cowl, but that didn't happen. So however, very glad she debuted with Le Sserafim. Happy to collect her. Yeah, that's really my story. I collect her, just her Korean album PCs and POBs, like barely. But like if I pulled them from like my K-Town For You, I'll just keep it or like whatever, but I don't actively seek her POBs. Because I bought the set, I just kept the other 4 members, but I'm still uncertain if I want to keep them in here or move them to my misc binder. But because they're Le Sserafim, because I have a place, so I'm still unsure about it. And then the 2 POBs that we don't talk about. That's it. Here we have my 9i collection. don't know how much it's gonna grow from here. I believe they released a statement saying they kind of sorted a few things out, so I'm not sure what's going on with them. I just hope that they're safe. I believe they're still like kind of in Japan from what I've seen from like their Instagram stuff, so I don't know. The only card I'm missing from this collection is this Van Orangeback. My bias is Eden, my second bias is Van, so that's how I decided to collect 2 members. And I love their songs. 9i, honestly, underrated group. They have such a great discography. And then I also collect for lightsum. If you didn't know, Nyan was also a part of pvhsvt, and I really liked her then. Still happy to collect her now. But Juhyun is my bias, and Nyan is my second bias. So we have my girlies from here, and they usually do like 1 per version with 2 versions, so it fits really nicely in a 4 pocket. And then here are some POBs for Juhyun. And then just a 4 pocket for Nyan. She is a more popular member, so I don't really go out of my way to look for her POBs. But that's it for my smaller collections. Then I have my ZB1 binder that we've seen very often in my channel, on my channel. So this is my non-zhanghao PCs that are not album PCs, that are not OT9 sets, sort of. Yes. So basically they're just cards that I want to keep that don't belong to Zhanghao. Yeah. Or like sometimes I do help my GOM by claiming some extra cards and stuff like that. But you can see like the glare is pretty intense. I'll hold it up like this for a bit. So yeah, merch cards, Matthew's clean PC. I do have one Hao here only because I didn't have a place for him. It's his Tower Records POB from in Bloom from Using the Shade. However, it doesn't have a spot in the bigger binder, so I decided to put him here. Then we move on to Melting Point, and this is where it kind of gets more chronological. These 2 PCs were damaged, so I just kept them, and the rest were just either from sorting and stuff that I got from my GOM, and I didn't want to sell them. I kept them because they are adorable, or I claimed them in GOs. So these are 2 merch PCs, and this starts You Had Me at Hello. The Zeroni PCs. So basically what I decided for OT9 POB sets is that I'll have Hao's in his binder, and since it works perfectly with the other 8 members, I just decided to put it in a spread like this, so it's gonna look like this, if you can see that. And I really like how this turned out, which is kind of bad for me just because I have a feeling we'll be collecting more OT9 sets. I didn't want to do that, so we're just not looking at that. But the Zeronis I definitely wanted to, and I have Therese, Gyuvins, Eugins on the way, and I'm missing Jung, Ricky, Hanbin, Matthew, and Ganuk. So yeah, this is all for my extras binder, and I have more on the way. So this is my Tempest collection. I collect 2 members, Hwarang and Hyuk. Hwarang is my bias, Hyuk is my second bias. Therefore, because Yehua is Yehua, I don't know what's going on with Hwarang. and if he's coming back from his hiatus anytime soon. They are performing on Road to Kingdom. I will support them, but I just it's a lot. Okay, so anyways, so this is the Hwarang section. They have always had like 4, like it works really well with an A4 binder, sorry, an A5 binder. They always have their first press hollow card plus 3 selfies. So for both Hwarang and Hyuk, until their voyage comeback, I'm complete. I have about, so I have 5 cards for Hwarang left. And then I'm done with him. And then for Hyuk, again, complete until Voyage era, which I think Lighthouse is their best title track, which is very unfortunate that Hwarang is not part of it. So I'm still missing 4 for Hyuk for his Voyage version. And then this is when they had like the digipack. So I collected both of them. I collected all of Hwarang's units. I ended up pulling Lu and Hanbin for POBs, and I just kept them because I loved all the boys. I joined Ghost to get both of them a little bit more matching. Then I did not join Ghost, and I just got them off Nyokyo. And then these are their season's greetings. That's it for my Tempest binder. I think this is my biggest A5 collection, and it's my Seongun binder. And let's see if I can get him out of the glare. So I've shown this many times on my channel. I do collect him quite extensively. He was one of my picks for I was gonna say produce again, for Boyz Planet, so I did want to collect him if he did debut, and thankfully he debuted in evnne, even though it's a temporary group. If Jellyfish were smart, they would keep their contract the same length as ZB1's, only because the groups of the other members that they would be in the future are in ZB1, so just extend even to a 2-year contract would be smart. So yeah, anyways, enough talking about that. That's about my collection. So these are his album PCs. It worked well until Ride or Die, where they decided to make more than just like 2 versions plus a digipack. So they have 2 versions plus a digipack plus a polka album. So what I decided to do, because it was very an odd number, the polka versions are gonna go here, but I'm only gonna collect 3 of the 4. Digipack version I already have on the way. The selfies for the albums I have on the way. I'm missing the Dare version concept. And this starts my POBs. I have a lot. I do selectively collect for him, but it's selectively a lot. So this is his CGV Boyz Planet card that I joined a go for when Boyz Planet were releasing this. I I claimed Zhanghao and Seongun. So that's why I have that. And then this is for Target Me. These are all of his POVs I collect, and I still have more on my wish list that I want to collect, even though my collection is quite extensive. And then here starts Unseen. And then these are merch cards. So like fan cons and stuff like that. And then I have his larger inclusions that don't want to stay still, no matter how often I straighten them out. So that's it for Seongun. And lastly, I have my A5 wide binder that houses my drippin collection. My drippin collection is more extensive than what this binder shows. However, this is my OT6 onwards binder. They are an alt of mine. So I do collect OT. Ever since they became 6, I decided to put them in this binder, which is super convenient. So I'm glad that this exists, by the way, because not the biggest fan of the 6 pattern. So glad I have this. So these are all their album PCs. So this starts 7 Sins. I do collect a OT POB set, and for 7 Sins it was their Who's Fans, I believe, pre-order benefits. This starts Beautiful Maze, and I'm only missing Changguk's photo book version. Just one of them. It's this one here that I'm missing. I have all the rest on the way. I joined many goes. I was in a perm claim for Yunseong. I do collect everything under the sun with his face on it, so or as much as I can. So I do also have an OT6 set coming, and I kept this for their fan club kit, but who knows when that's ever gonna come out. So that's all for my A5 binders, and we're gonna move on to my A4s. Okay, so this is where my A5 binders start. So I have a few binders that I just will never be showing. One is my larger inclusions binder. It's way too big, way too messy, and it's not something I personally keep track of. If they're in that larger inclusions binder, it's just that I received it in the album and I'll put it away. But it's not something I'm keeping track of, therefore I am not showing it. Another one is like, you know when 17 makes like the carrot version and they have like the million PCs that come with it. There's also a binder that I have for those, and again, I'm not showing that one. It's just not pertinent to my collection at all. It's not something that I see growing. It's not something that I care to show. It's not something that I'm working on. So those are the 2 binders I'm not showing. However, I will show my graveyard binder because it is a binder that either rises from the dead or it stays dead, which is basically what I refer to it as. A lot of people call it like a retired binder. Could be that too. But anyways, I just refer to it as my graveyard binder. So this is it. It is quite big, so I'm gonna bring you up just a bit. Okay, so either they are finished collections, finished to what I want, or collections that I just wasn't passionate about continuing. And like I said, either I can repick them up if ever I want to. I didn't sell any of their cards for a reason. So we'll start with my IZ*ONE collection. I collected 3 members, Sakura, Chaewon, and Nako. I did not collect Chaewon or Sakura for the Sserafim because A, Nako was my bias for IZ*ONE. B, for Produce 48, it was Yunjin. So in both those aspects, that's why it is what it is. I also collected what I wanted. Some cards were a little bit more difficult, so I just stopped, and you'll see, like, so for these ones here, like, color is, I got them, the ones I wanted. And then, like, for Heart Eyes, like, I have different versions just because it was too difficult. I just kept the ones that I really liked. Same with these. Sometimes I only have 1 set. Sometimes I have 2 sets. For boyz, like, it's just a collection. And I wanted to complete it, put it to rest, and I'm very happy with my IZ*ONE collection. So, I used to collect Hitomi, so this is why it was like this. This is how I used to collect them. And then I dropped her, but because the POBs used to come in member sets, I just kept all the members. Also used to collect Golden Child. I collected Jibum, and there are many missing PCs because Woolim really sucks when they come to their album cards. So they'll have, like, I'll show you. So starting from, like, Yes onwards, especially, like, Game Changer, there was 1 card per album. There's 10 members of Golden Child and 10 cards each. It's very hard to collect for Golden Child, but so I stopped collecting them. And then I just decided, like, I love their title tracks. I love Golden Child. So, like, this has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with Willem. So, yeah. I hope this is tall enough. A little bit taller. Also, sorry for the noise. I'm filming in, like, the morning. I usually don't, but it's a little bit more quieter than usual. So like I said, there's many spaces in here. If I end up finding a card, I may or may not get it. I do not show that if I, like, store away in this binder. However, if I do take out a collection from this binder and start recollecting it, it's something that I like to track. However, this binder may never be shown again, just FYI. And this is a page of just, like, POBs. NCT 127, I used to collect Johnny. Love Johnny. Still love him. It's just starting from 2 baddies. I found it really overwhelming, which is stupid because, like, I don't find, like, collections overwhelming, but I don't know, it got to a point where there was too many versions. It was hard to keep track of, so I just decided to stop at 2 baddies. I kept 2 cards and that was it. I decided we'll pause and/or stop here, and I'm okay with this. Omega X, I love Omega X. I followed them since their pre-debut show. I loved their concept. I loved getting members together who had previously been in groups that had disbanded, and getting them together to restart their careers. Hate Spire, fuck Spire, but it was a good idea. And they were very successful. What Spire did to them was unforgivable. It's like, how dare you do that to a couple of boys, you know? Like, no. So, anyways, I used to collect, my bias is Hangyeom, and then Taedong and Jaehyun I used to collect as well. But then for the next era, Hui-chan looked like this, so I collected his cards along with Hangyeom and Jaehyun. But then I re-picked up Taedong. Like, it's kind of a mess, my Omega X collection, but that's what I did. And then these are just like POBs, it's just short showcase cards. Yeah. Itzy, again, used to collect Leah. Love Leah. Hope she gets better. I'm excited for her to come back. However, I just decided that I wasn't vibing with the collection anymore. And so Cheshire is the incomplete collection, and it just stayed like that for a very long time. And I decided to put it to rest. I don't know whether or not I will be re-picking her back up. It's not a priority at all for the moment, so. And EXO, this is the one I struggle with the most if I want to re-pick back up or not. I did collect Chen. I miss collecting Chen, truly, like, but I just, for right now, because I have so many groups that I collect, I want to keep it, I don't know. I don't know. And then I have CBX. More. I also have, yeah, see, so like Obsession. And then April and the Flower, Dear My Dear. This is our Japanese things. And then non-Chen stuff. So like Shumin and Baekhyun are my number 2 after Chen. And so I just kept their cards if I pulled them. And I pulled Dio, and I decided just to keep him. And then this, my Kepler collection. I used to collect 3 members. However, I dropped everything after First Impact. Dublast was, for some reason, stupidly difficult to collect. And Troubleshooter, also, I didn't have, like, I don't know, it was just not a good time. So I just decided to stop. However, I did end up picking Chaehyun back up. So that's why there's all these fillers here. Kind of a mess of a binder section, but yeah, that's it. That's all for my graveyard binder. Starting from smaller collections, we have my boy groups binder, which is a staple in my channel. We've seen it many times. For TXT, I collect Subin. I am complete with his collection. So I only collect Korean album cards, and then POBs, like if I get it from like K-Town when I order, like that's it. I have both weavers on the way to me. And that's it. Next, I collect wavy, I collect Yang, I collect Korean album photo cards, their Kino cards, or his Kino cards, and some merch / POBs that I like from him as well. It's a smaller collection. And then for Gimme That, I've said it in my storing photo cards video, it's not like a priority. I didn't even go looking for them yet. It's just put on the back burner for now. These are merch cards and POBs and some larger inclusions. NCT Dream, I collect Jamin. I'm almost complete with his collection. Again, I'm only missing 2 cards, but super not priority. So I collect all the Korean album cards and some merch POBs. I'm only missing these 2 cards and then I'm done. So this page only came about because I wanted this card so bad. I bought the plushie, got the card, love the card, cutest card, and now I have a page dedicated to it. For Stray Kids, I collect Han. So I am complete until the 8th comeback. So I don't collect Japanese cards for him. I only collect his Korean album cards. And like super unseriously. So I set up for 8, but again, not really a priority. For oneus, first of all, oneus going back to Road to Kingdom is the shittiest thing evnne and RBW could do. Why are they going back? I have a lot of words, have a lot of thoughts. None of them are good. I do hope this gets the exposure that RBW wants to get, but why are they going back? Whatever. Oneus have been through Produce 101. They've been through Road to Kingdom. Like, can we not do this again? Can they just, like, be successful? I collect Seno. I am complete until whenever they get a new comeback, which will probably be after Road to Kingdom, like the last time. My poor boys. And then these are some Japanese cards, most POBs, some Seasons Greetings stuff. And that's it. And then for Boy Next Door, it's a relatively new collection, relatively new group. I collect Jaehyun. Again, super unserious collection. I do have trades put up for all of these. I don't know if I took it down or not, but I do have trades on my trade sale Instagram for all of these. I'm not in the mood to buy the PCs yet. We're not there yet. So we're just going to continue slowly. So that's it for my boy groups binder. Okay, so my next smaller collection is my girl groups binder. So I collect, so obviously they're bigger than like my sserafim and my lightsum. But I put 3 groups in my A5. It's Dreamcatcher, G-Idol, and Kepler. So for Dreamcatcher, I collect Sua. It starts at Alone in the City plus End of the Era, sorry. Because if you don't collect for Dreamcatcher, their albums, I think like their first 7 or 8 albums are out of print. So they're very hard to collect for like back collecting. Forward collecting, not so terrible, but like they're much easier than the older cards. The older cards are very expensive, so we get them one at a time in strides. hope you can see it properly. Oh, I used to collect 3 members. I used to collect Jiu and Yuhyun, and before Jiu, I used to collect Xian. And then I just decided we're gonna stick with Sua. Like, I'm okay with just Sua. She's my queen, she's my wife, I love her. So, that's why I have like 3 members. These are merch cards from their Haunted Mansion and... what's the other one called? Dreamcatcher Mind. And then album cards, POB. Mostly album cards. Album cards. I'm only missing 3 of her cards. They're harder to find, especially like the limited versions. Oof, it's very difficult. But I'm not stressed about it. Like, truly, honestly, super not stressed. Super don't think about it. Does not keep me up at night. We're okay. And then they have their newest comeback with Virtuous. So I set up for that as well. So the albums are waiting to ship, but hopefully by next week they'll arrive. And then these are just some POBs/merch cards. G-Idol, I collect them the same way. I selectively picked her older cards. I might change this one for... what era was it? I can't remember now. But I might change this card to another card just because I cannot find this card. I never have found this card. So I might change it to another older card and put this one here. It's before this one here and I really can't remember right now. But so these are her older eras. So I love jewel case version. When I find it, I will buy it. I just have never found it. So it stays here. Oh, I feel jewel case cat version I did find. So she is in my Poke Market, but like she's literally the only card in there right now. So it'll come when it comes. For 2, I'm also missing her jewel case 1 version, and then I'm done. I think I got 2 more star versions in my Neokyo package. And then this is for I Sway. I got my albums and I did not pull. I pulled one of her cards. I pulled her beat version. That's it. So, we'll see. I have, who did I pull? I pulled a lot of Shuhua and Minnie. So if you have Yuki up for trade, you may message me there. And then POBs. Kepler, I collect Chaehyun. So this is a very new collection. I just started her, but I do have quite a bit for her as well. At the moment, I'm only collecting her Korean album cards. We'll see if I jump into her Japanese cards, but not a priority, not a right now thing. I think I want to finish her Korean cards before, or like get the majority of them done before I even think about her Japanese versions. So that's it for my girl groups. Next, I have my treasure binder. So I collect 3 members of treasure. I collect Jihoon, Yoshi, and Doyoung. Yoshi is my bias, and then Jihoon and Doyoung are like tied for 2nd place. Missing this white version card. I think in like the older versions, this is the only one I'm missing. Doyoung and Yoshi are completely complete. I used to collect Hyunsuk at the beginning, and then I changed for June. I started standing them for I Love You. Like, that song is still excellent. I still love it, still listen to it. It's amazing. Our first press. And then these are where like the older K-Town for You POV started. I used to be more serious about this section, but I'm no longer as serious about it. So whenever I find them, I may or may not buy them, but again, I'm serious. They're mostly June because I collected him last, obviously. And then first press, random POBs/PCs. I think this one here I got in like a trade or something, like somebody sent it to me as a freebie, and he is so freaking cute. I decided to keep him. K-Town. Yeah. And then this starts the album PCs again. I'm not missing too much. Like, I'm pretty satisfied with where I am with my treasure collection. I do still, obviously, I have missing ones, but I go in like these batches of times where I'm like, oh, let's search treasure on Yokio and buy a whole bunch of cards. And then there are periods that I don't touch this collection for a little bit. And it just happens like that. And then this is Reboot, their newest. Is it their newest? I guess, because King Kong didn't have a, but I think they're gonna have a new album soon-ish. I don't remember, but again, excited to collect for them. They're fun to collect, they're easy to collect. This is their tag versions, Kino versions, and I just picked up this set. I don't know what this set is, but I found it cute, so I got it. And it kind of matched the vibes of. And then these are like random POBs that I got from them. And then I got the OT 12 set. I think these are also POBs. And then just extra units that I got. I just kept them here. And yeah, that's it. That's it for my treasure binder. All right, this is my Obtention binder. They are a disbanded group now, but I will always love Obtention. Honey 10 for life. Like, I love these boys with all my heart, even if they no longer pursue idol careers. I'm happy I got to meet them as idols. So and they still have, I think there's only one title track where I was kind of like meh, and that meh was like I still had it on my daily playlist for like 4 months. So I truly love Obtention. I'm still trying to finish them off for their last comeback, which was Love Hunter. Well, it was their What Is Love comeback, but I don't remember what the album was called. We'll get there. So anyways, Obtention started as 10. They used to do circle cards, and they don't fit in these ones here. They're in the back. And then they finally did photo cards, but it didn't really get to like selfie photo cards until their Your Gravity comeback. So I collected them. They used to be OT8, and then Top Media is a shitty company, okay? And then afterwards, Jiu left, but we didn't know that. He went to the military. We didn't know that. He came back. We didn't know that. Like, nothing. The company didn't update us on anything. And now he's just a regular civilian. He's out of the idol life. This doesn't have Junhyuk and I was gonna say Wushin, Wusuk, because they were not really part of attention after Your Gravity, which is after Produce X 101. We got beef with Produce. We got beef with Top Media. Being a honey 10 is not for the weak. Let's just say that. So, hope this is in frame. So I collect OT8 and then OT7 onwards. pvhsvt. See, like, our fandom is so small. This card doesn't exist anywhere. Like, you can't, like, I can't find this card. It doesn't exist. Like, even on templates, nobody has found this card. Like, this is how tiny this fandom is. Like, so, like, it's not... Oh, this card also, haven't found it. Don't know if it exists or not. But that Kun card is, like, notorious for not existing. Everybody else, I think I have them completed. This is, like, by member. Yes, I had 7 cards per member. And then POB sets. POB sets. This is the Kino version. I pulled Kogyo and I bought Gyujin, but look, if I buy it and I pull these two, it's like impossible to trade for. We are too small of a fandom. It doesn't really work that way. If there are any honey 10s, you please let me know in the comments. We're not very many of us anymore, so it's just kind of... So these ones here as well. Novella, loved this comeback. It was amazing. And then this is where, okay, so I did end up putting Kogyo back to where he belongs in his Love Hunter section instead of Love Scope. He was doing this pose, but as you can see, like, Kogyo is always different. It's always a side. It's always, there's something different about, like, even in his POBs and stuff, he's different. So, you know what? I decided to embrace his differenceness. I decided to leave it like this. So this is one of my higher priority collections that I really, really, really want to finish, but it is one of my harder collections to finish, so. And these are just unit PCs that came in that album. Misc PCs that are not in sets, or I have that card and I have another card. Like duplicates, what I meant. And then for Xiao's debut, Lee Dong-yeol's debut with Howl, yeah. And then, like I said, these are the bigger cards that don't really fit in the other pocket because they used to do circle cards. So I kept whatever I received. And then these are just some larger inclusions. And that's it for my obtention binder. Boom. Another prominent one is 17. This has been shown many times before. This is no different. So this is my older June cards. There's a Joshua. there's a Junghan, just because I don't know with the blue back, I don't know if like it's a real or a fake or a second press or if, like, I don't know. So I just decided to keep it, because if I sell him, how do I price it? I don't even know if it's fake or real. So I just decided to keep it. And then I do collect 3 members, Joshua, June, and Wonu. June is my bias, and then followed closely by Wonu or Joshua. So I collect for them. So tell me why an ode was much easier to collect for than Face the Sun. I don't know. I thought I was also gonna need a second binder for them, so I got one, but turns out this still has quite a lot of room. I don't know how it still has a lot of room, but it does. For this one here, I used to collect Junghan. So I used to collect 4 members of 17, which was June, Joshua, Wonu, and Junghan. And I just ended up dropping Junghan. I like collecting 3 members better than 4 members because I don't really like an 8 spread. So that's just that. It's just preference. But for their Japanese Hitori Janai, I did collect just June and Junghan. There was no reason. It just happened to be that way. This Wonu card is very expensive, so I don't have it. I thought at one point I was supposed to get it, and then I don't know. I don't know what happened. These are some of the cards that I pulled that I just kept because I love them. They look so pretty. This starts the bane of my existence, Face the Sun. I am missing 3 cards, and then it's over. I hope the glare isn't too bad. You know what? I haven't even really been looking for their cards recently, so like I guess just they're not really a priority for the moment. I don't know. I haven't been looking for these versions. Like their 17 is right here. I feel like I was looking more for their older cards than for their newer ones, but anyways. For their card versions, I usually just collect June, but for this era, I found them so pretty. So I collected Joshua's and June's, and I pulled Wonu, so I just kept his here, and it'll be a 9 pocket like that. When POBs consisted of every single member, I just decided to keep it as is. And then for June, I collected his fan cafe cards. Sorry, fan club cards. Missing the 7th one. For Season's Greetings, I'm missing 2019, 2020. 2020 is the one where he's holding a stuffed cat, and that's gonna be and is expensive. So we're just gonna look at the sticker for a long time. And then I believe this was a freebie POB. I got the birthday kit, going 17. the always campaign, sorry, the thanks campaign, and then like I said, the carrot cards. And then I joined Goes this era for 17th Heaven. I joined Goes, so I got quite a few, and then the deluxe PC, and somebody had gifted me this card. And that's it for my 17 collection. Now we just have my bigger collections to go through. Okay, so this is the home stretch. These are my bigger collections. I have 3 bigger collections that consist in more than one binder. So I have the boyz, drippin, and zerobaseone. So we're gonna start with the boyz because I downsized that a lot. It was my biggest collection, and I'm most proud of the boyz collection, I think. But unfortunately, I did end up downsizing quite a bit for the boyz. So without further ado, we'll get into my biggest the boyz binder, which is this one right here. So this is filled to the brim. I collected 3 members of the boyz. I collected Jacob, Kevin, and Q. I collected them extensively. POBs, special cards, very extensive. My most extensive, I think, collection. This was like my first collection, and so I went all out on the boyz collection. So without further ado, okay, so I did buy a signed Kevin Polaroid. I didn't talk to him, but I bought it. And then these are just like fan club cards that have my information on it. These are broadcast cards. This is the special binder card. Hold on, can you see anything? There you go. This is like a special binder or folder card. I can't remember. And this was their pre-debut something. Anyways, these cards were very expensive is what I meant to say. And then the first, these are the album cards. These are just special cards, but they fit the aesthetic. So and then the units, we have the start, and yes, these are real. And then here are their showcase cards. Because so it's weird just because Q and is it Q? Q and Jacob are part of the same one, so I just got one. I wasn't gonna get both of them. These are their right here album cards, and then showcase cards. This is for, I think it's in the air, off air, no air? Can't remember the versions anymore. In Bloom, album cards, broadcast cards, both of them are real. I never saw Jacob. I really wanted Jacob at a time. I was looking like crazy and never ever found it, so it's just a purple spot. And then the DDD album, and I collected for the day version. I love the day version, so I just collected a full OT12 set. Tattoo, and I believe these are special cards, but I don't remember what they're called anymore. It's been a while, guys. Oof. So again, this is my most expensive page in my entire binder. So this is when MMT cards, they were the only ones that were available as POBs. and they were only for like fan call, not fan calls, they didn't exist, the fan meetings and stuff, so they were very difficult to get. The only fake one is this Changmin, and I did find him, like the real one, but now I wouldn't spend what I did spend on these, so I didn't buy it. But the rest are all real. These two, I believe, they're broadcast cards, and these are MMTs. Yeah, this is reveal. So I got into the boyz during the end of DDD, tattoo, and then reveal. I loved reveal. When reveal came out, I was streaming that like no tomorrow. Like, it didn't make sense to me that the views were not going up. Like, it was just such a good song. Like, reveal was that song. It was so, so good. And then I supported them all the way through Road to Kingdom, and then Kingdom, of course. Like, when they performed at Mama's for the first time in 2020, I cried. Like, I was just so happy for them. So yeah. And then I also just randomly decided to, for reveal, because I loved it so much, I picked up Haknyeon, New, and Eric. And then the Stealer came out, and I think we heard the Stealer 50 million times, and all the Debis got sick of it. And then, but I still I'll still like belt out the Stealer if I ever saw them. If they ever come to Canada, just because IST hates us, I don't know. They have 2 Canadians in their group. I don't understand. They don't understand. We all don't understand. But anyways, I digress. And then I collected a full page of Haknyeon because it was easy to do. And this is where my POB venture started. I collected all the POBs for all the members. So this exists. And then I collected a 9 pocket of Haknyeon just because I could. So I did. And then these are some that I got that I really, really liked. I love this set. I can't remember. At a time, there used to be a time where I could name all, like, the stores. Like, I knew it by heart. I can't do that anymore. But these ones here, which is also, where is the set? This one here, I love this set. It's one of my favorite sets. And then Breaking Dawn. Collected all of them as well. This is when I started collecting. This era, this is where the madness started. Thrill Ride, also excellent, excellent, excellent. And then I collected OT11 for the rest of, just for the this version. Can't remember what it's called anymore, but yeah. And then also for the lenties. And then I just have a page of album cards that I don't want to get rid of. OT for the tickets, and then POBs commence. Q, I joined a go for this, and it never came. So I don't know what happened, but I'm no longer in a state that I care about it. So I'm just gonna leave it blank for now. Oh, and then this is Maverick. And then we start Maverick. Also loved Maverick so much. I remember I went to Halifax for vacation that time. Like, I was obsessed with the song. So I'll forever associate that vacation with Maverick. And then I decided to do like this. I collected some members, some photo cards, because I really liked Maverick's like photo cards. So I decided to collect all their PVC cards, plus like, so Sangyeon, I collected this card. Jacob, I collected all of it. Younghoon, I collected these. Hyunjae, I collected these. Like, you know, that's what I did. until this. That's where I stopped. And then the POVs commence. And at the time, it was fun because, like, I had a group of friends and we all collected, like, the 11 members of the boys. Like, there was one of us, like, we completed the 11. So this is how I was able to easily get all these cards. They were expensive, but I was still very easily able to collect them. Oh, and then their Echo set. This PLB, I got the set and I refuse to let go of it, so we have it. That's why it's here, randomly. And then she's the boss. And then Whisper. And this card that I do not, sorry, it's the only card I'm missing. And this is, I think I stopped for Whisper. I didn't collect POVs for them. Oh, I guess I did, but not too many. Like this plus this. And that's it for my OT3, the boyz binder. So the next part of the boyz binder, I decided to only collect Kevin. So I dropped from 3 members collecting everything to just 3 members not collecting PLBs, really, to only Kevin. So that is probably my biggest drop. But I refuse to sell any of the other cards in the collection. I'm keeping it as is. And it's just gonna go in the graveyard afterwards. Like, it's just, I put a lot of money and like love into that collection. I refuse to change it. So anyways, so this is my second The Boyz binder. It houses Kevin's album cards. And then for part 1, I decided to also collect Younghoon just because I loved his cards. Look at his cards. They're beautiful. Gorgeous, even. So I collected both of them. And then I went back to just Kevin for part 2 and part 3. And then these are just POVs of Kevin. I ended up claiming like Kevin and Jacob for something, but so I kept the Jacob POVs, but then the rest of them is just pretty much Kevin. And it's just whatever I want. There's nothing, I have no rules. And then here is also OT3 stuff. This is all non-album stuff. Things are messy a little bit. Please ignore. I haven't really looked at this section in a while and the cards are misplaced, but I refuse to fix all of this. We're just gonna pretend it doesn't exist or else we'll be here forever. But yeah, this is first gen fan club. It's the second gen fan club plus their Azit cards. AAA, I got their photo book. I pulled Sunu, and one of my very good friends on IG, I told her, like, she is a Sunu stan, and I told her that if she does happen to find a Jacob, the real one obviously, then I will trade with her. And she did. She found Jacob, and so Jacob was my number 1 for a very long time, and then Kevin took over. Sorry, Jacob. But I do love his card more than Kevin's. Like, this card is beautiful. We love it, so we keep it. And then they're dazed. Was this their, what was it called? It was the Road to Kingdom stuff, but I can't remember what it's called. Also, Road to Kingdom merch cards. Very expensive merch cards. This was their reveal fan concert, I think. Real. They're real. I'm missing just 2 cue cards, but I'm not. we're not going through this. This was their Season's Greetings POB set. Missing Jacobs, Breaking Dawn, pre-order benefits from Tower Records that I got. This was their eco bag set. La Poticelle, they're ambassadors for a long time. I got a lot of their cards as well. This is all La Poticelle. What was this one? Yeah, La Poticelle as well. Oh, and then their Christmassy music video thing that they had going on. First of all, Christmassy is their best winter title track, or like, because they do a song for their anniversary which ends up being like Christmas, so it's like their Christmas wintry song. So Christmassy, I have that on my playlist every single winter. It's like an immediate, always, it stays the entire, from freaking, I don't know, November until February. Like, it just stays on my playlist. It's so good. It's so good. And then I got their light stick stuff. I think this is the strap, and then this is the set that came with the light stick. And this was their fan club. Yeah, their fan club. So I just put all of them, plus their Japan fan club. And this is their be your own king thing that they had. So I got the box set, so I have them all. Kevin's night PCs do not exist, so I do not have them. But I got, I think I pulled him or something. I got the bracelet for these two, so I have both of them. This is the Kingdom set. To be Japan, I believe, and then this was a set from Hang Ten set. Their Thrill Ride pop-up, I think. Random PCs. The Star, I believe, magazine. This one here. These ones here. Concert merch. Same with this one here. I believe these are Season's Greetings. Yeah. Oh, and these are fun. Sorry, these are fan clubs. They were very similar that year, like very school spirit. And then just random cards that I had. And yeah, that's my entire The Boyz collection. That was a lot. Okay. So this is my Drippin collection. For Drippin, I collect OT, but they did the same thing kind of as Golden Child, where for Voyager they were only giving out 2 cards, but they had like 10 cards per member. For you had like for the whole, like they had 2 albums, but in all of those you had 10 PCs per member, but you only got 2 cards. So Woolim being Woolim, for some reason this was a little bit easier. Voyager, sorry, not Voyager. Who was there? A Better Tomorrow. So for A Better Tomorrow, they looked very similar, all the PCs, so they also did the same thing, 10 cards per member. So I decided just to keep 5. And then for Free Pass, they were even worse. They only did 1 PC, but 5 PCs per member. So Free Pass is like the most difficult album to collect for, I believe. And then Villain. This was their best trilogy. Well, I loved all their title tracks. Their B-sides are even more phenomenal. Guys, if you've never listened to Drippin, like, either start from the beginning and like make your way up, or start from the villain trilogy. Like, oh, it was so good. Like, everything about this era was so good. We had a full year was just their villain trilogy. We had 3 comebacks. We had a Japanese release. Like, 2021, I believe, was like their year. Yeah. 2021 or 2022. I can't remember now. But one of those, I believe it was 2022 actually. 2022 was their year. Like, truly their year. I collected OT. Starting from here was much easier to collect. They were much more generous. So collected everybody's. I didn't collect their lenties though. That or their concept cards. Everything, but their selfies, yes. Zero was next. New concept for them. Everybody was like, whoa, crazy. They had like their dance practice on a helipad. Like, we got money all of a sudden. Like, was great. Zero was also great. Love Zero. Usually it's not really my style of music, and I wasn't sure at the beginning, but like as I listened to it, I was like, this is great. Love it. And this were their IDs. And then the one came, and they have, first of all, like, their B-sides, guys. The Villain album has like the best B-sides. All their songs are really good, but like the one also has really, really good B-sides. Like, I love Drippin's music, guys. Like, they need to be more popular than they are right now, okay? That's all I'm saying. And they're going to KCON LA, so if you are going to KCON LA and you have a chance to meet them and go say hi, please say hi for me. like they are such great guys. Please, like, they deserve the world. So anyways, the end was a little bit more difficult to get the photo cards, but we managed. We got everybody. And then they had their like polka version, which never happened, so this was new for them. This is the era that I spoke to Alex, actually. The end. I spoke to him twice. And then I put Yunseong, well, technically I put Hao the same way I put Yunseong, so I had all the OTs. And then here is his Japanese cards. I only collect Yunseong. It's very difficult to collect in general. They're very expensive, the Japanese cards. So we just keep it at this. And then these are his POBs, starting from the beginning. Yeah. Yunseong is the most expensive member with Juno. So I bought his Polaroid. So I do have a Polaroid signed without talking to him. And these are just all Yunseong POVs. And this is when they started going crazy, during like Villain, but like, and he had blue hair. This is when I started like alting, like Drippin. I stan Drippin since the beginning because I used to watch Produce X 101. Like, I knew all these boys except for Alex, but this was my alting era. And I was gifted during my alting era. Like, truly. Oh, I have a signed card. I know it's real because I'm not going to buy a fake one, but I forgot I had that. We're still on POBs. I'm missing 2 cards, and they're the units with Juno that I'm just gonna place over there. This is the 7 Sins POBs. Honestly, 7 Sins is my least, like, I just pretend that doesn't exist. Like, that entire song, the era itself, the boys didn't like it, like, as a concept. We were kind of like, huh? So I just ignore 7 Sins completely. But other than that, these are units. So we started unit PCs. Unit PCs for some reason with drippin are much more expensive than their POBs, but they're POBs also. So because it's like complete, these are all like with Yunseong. That's why I'm gonna put them the other one. I'm starting a new binder completely for him anyways. These are merch cards going upwards. And these are my OT7 POB sets. So again, with Free Pass, they gave a full set of POBs, all 7 members. This is the hardest set I've ever collected. My cat's going crazy in the background. Okay, and Alex is the only member I'm missing. I know it's gonna be expensive when I find him, but I don't care. Like, I need this card. And I know, like, he was already really expensive. The rest were not terrible, but I need this. This is the last card, and I need it, so. And then I wanted to collect, like, 1 set per era. So I did that. And then so Hyup used to be my favorite. I really liked him in Produce. His, when they did Twit, like, excellent. Made me love Hyup. So I did collect him at first, and then my bias changed to Yunseong. But I love these boys. They are my everything. So I keep. And then I decided, well, Jennifer, why don't you just get more POBs of other members that you really like? Like the POBs that I really like for other members. So I did. What about merch cards too, Jennifer? Yes, he's holding a Bulbasaur. Needed it. He has toast in his mouth. Needed it. He's holding a drink. Needed it. They look adorable. Needed it. Like, it's just a thing. And then, of course, so these are my Alex sign cards I got for my video call, and these are the Polaroids. And then random POBs. Yunseong larger inclusions, and then just whoever I pulled larger inclusions. And this is for Beautiful Maze. But again, Beautiful Maze, I'm gonna leave these in here, but I will end up changing it to the other binder. Really quickly, because this doesn't really have much to it. So this is my newest Yunseong binder. I wasn't gonna show it initially, but because this is also recording my progress, I decided to anyways. The binder is the same color as the OT6 drippin binder, and I decided from Beautiful Maze going forward, I will be putting Yunseong in here. Not only is it bursting the other binder, and I'm like kind of scared for my cards, it's also a brand new era, brand new sound. Even Drippin themselves had mentioned that, like, this is a new start for them, and so I decided to, going onwards, like merch, units, like everything that I would put in my Yunseong section for the other binder will be going in this binder. So right now I only have these cards, but I am part of a perm claim, and I have, like, I'm part of a lot of goes with Yunseong, so this is gonna get filled up very quickly. But for right now, I only have these 4. And lastly, this binder has been set up on camera. It's been shown multiple times. Welcome back, zerobaseone OT9. So this is OT9 album, and you can't see anything. Try to kind of like that. If I move it a bit like that, so it'll be okay. So these are OT9 album PCs. I do collect OT for my alts, and this is the case for this, like, continues on for zerobaseone. They are a temporary group, but which makes me want to collect OT9 even more. So this is for youth in the shade. Youth in the shade. So I put youth first and then shade second. And then their digipack. And then melting point fairy tale version. I put them like going on vibes because they didn't really have a specific like set to them. Except for the mystery version. Mystery version, it's their photo shoot cards versus their pajama cards. So, or like teaser versus album shoot. So and then their loyalty, also vibes only. And then their lenties, digipack, and then this is the start of You Had Me at Hello. And yeah, I have most of the cards on the way. Eclipse version, solar version, I'm missing just Tere. ID, I'm missing Yujin. Digipack, I'm complete. And zeros. Well, I know I have OT9 coming, but I don't know if I'll get OT9 like their selfies, but whatever, that's fine. And then so what I decided to do was, for the concept version, they have 4 cards. So I decided to put my favorite of the 4 in the front. And then after the selfie PCs, I'm gonna obviously add more sleeves, but I'm gonna put them like Yuvin, Garnuk, Yujin in the 3s that are left. My cat is also going crazy this entire time, FYI, sorry about that. And these are the units. And then plenty of space for their new comeback. Excited about that. And like drippin and zerobaseone are gonna have comeback both in August. I am so freaking excited. I hope they do challenges together. Like, guys, we're at the last binder. This is the, so I have 3 binders for zerobaseone, which is why it's so, oh no, that's never happened before. Usually it stays still the whole time. Anyways, guys, we're almost done. So, zerobaseone collection. This is a how binder, basically. It's what I do with my Yunseong collection. I just kept it kind of like the same layout. So here are his Japanese version cards. I'm still waiting. Like, there's a package coming with like all the cards that I'm missing from like Melting Point and the Japanese comeback. So the next time I'm storing photo card videos, a lot of this will be settled. I also received these 2 from Tower Records, so I decided to keep them and collect 2 more so it looks cute. And I love Yuvin and Ricky. I love them all. So anyways, this starts the POBs. I collected all POBs. Very completionist style. Yes, some photo cards look the same, but that's what it is. It is what it is. I don't care. I still need them all. So the rest are on the way. We're really close. We're complete actually with Melting Point. For the new ones, I don't know, for like lucky draws and stuff, like hopefully I ended up getting how, but it was sorted, so hopefully I was fast enough. So I have it all set up. And I set it up like POBs and then lucky draws. I have like, okay, I wanted to set it up like where it stops and then lucky draws go in, but it was a mess like to set this up. Like I actually hated setting this up. Like it was so annoying. Just like the layout and stuff. It didn't work out as well as I wanted it to, and it ends on an odd number. And there's like, because I collect every single one of his cards, there's no card that I have left to put here. So I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. OT merch. So this is the fan club for the first year, the first generation, I guess. First gen. So these are the icon. I got the zerobaseone version, and I also got Hanbin and Hao. Oh, Zach's tail's in the way. And then I put their Polaroids here. Oh, by the way, so I know that a lot of the melting point backs are really cute. And you're probably like, why don't you display them and make it all cute? Listen, Youth in the Shade had terrible backs. Like I hated the backs of the cards, which is why I decided to double sleeve this. The reason why I'm double sleeving Hao is because of Youth in the Shade. And I'm kind of glad it was Youth in the Shade, so it was at the beginning. So I'm already, like, it's not like Yunseong where it's a page and a page and a page. Like it's double-sided and white-sleeved for all of them. It just is what it is. End of discussion. So yeah, I got Hao's version, Hanbin's version, and then I put the Hyungline unit card here. I got the OT8, I believe. Says the pop-up. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah. Oh, and I do it in age order. Same with like drippin. Age order, not leader first. It's just I'm an age order enthusiast. So that's how it goes. These are his merch PCs. And why is it that I collect the most expensive member for both my alts? We don't know. Anyways, so units, merch, more merch, clean PCs. I believe I have more cards coming here, but I'm not 100% sure. I have the rest of the Season's Greetings POBs on the way. Again, I'm not sure. So this is where, like, depending on what happens with these, I might move things around. But that's for next sorting photo cards video. And then he had his L'Officiel magazine. So I got all of his cards for that. And then these are Japan FanCon cards. This starts my larger inclusions. So I don't store larger inclusions. I probably never will. I don't know. It's just something that I don't really, like I said, I don't really keep track of. So I don't care to show it. But this is what I have for Hao anyways. I can show them like if they're like this, I guess, but it's a mess, FYI. So here I collected Gyuvin, but my top three, I don't really have a top three actually. I have Haobin and Matthew, Gyuvin, Tere, like everybody, Ricky, like I can't choose a third. So it switches. At first, like I wanted to collect three members. It was Zhanghao, Hanbin, and Matthew. And then it was OT9. It went from, like, I couldn't, no. So even for here, like, I collected I don't have Hao's. I can't find Hao's Digipack card. I don't know why this is so difficult to find. But I'm missing his. For Fairy Tale, I took Gyuvin instead of Matthew. No reason. But here, for Mystery, Matthew. Here, I'm missing Hanbin, Gyuvin. No reason. Oh, and then all their little AR thing, clips I put here. Gyuvin is here, missing Hanbin. You know. And then I just kept Taobin for these because there's 2. And then here's Gyuvin because I can't bear to trade him away, and Hao, and I decided I wanted the other 2, Hanbin and Matthew, to go here and here. I have Hanbin and Hao. I also have Ricky and Jung, but I don't know. I don't know about larger inclusions. I don't know how to store them, but I do want to collect all for Hao for sure. Like that, like I do want to collect everything for him. Same thing with like Yunseong. Like I collect everything for them both, including larger inclusions. So that's why they're in the video. That's it, you guys. So, that's all my collections. You've seen all my binders. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you like to see my collections. I hope it either inspires you to collect a little bit more, or it inspires you to collect in general. For me, I love my collection. It's something that I've been doing since 2021. It's something that keeps me like grounded, if that makes any sense. Like IRL, I'm a nurse, so things are super crazy around me all the time. So coming back home to like K-pop and like fun, happy, like non-stressful things, getting mail for like cards and stuff like that, and PCs, like that all makes me happy. So I continue to collect. And I love this hobby. People have other hobbies. People like video games, people like sports, people like collecting figurines. I like collecting photo cards. So anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, or night, wherever you are. And if you watched this whole movie, I appreciate you so much. However, if you just decided to skip around, I appreciate you as well. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.